Under the Red Cross International standards, the government is prohibited from interfering in its operations. They claim that agents began surveillance of the camp starting on Tuesday when they surrounded the facility and set up a temporary checkpoint at the property line. The organization claims that this has deterred people from accessing critical medical care during this period of extreme heat.
And according to new data from Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity, Metro Tucson lost 400 jobs from the same time in 2016. Its 1% job loss was the second worst in the state. Only the Sierra Vista Douglas area lost more jobs with 0.3%. The largest job losses were in professional and business services, where the total fell by 2,800 over the year. In comparison, the state overall gained 9,700 of these types of jobs. These tend to be the highest paying jobs with an average wage of $52,982. According to the University of Arizona's Eller Business School, researchers Doug Walls couldn't explain the losses, but said that certain employers are laying off a lot of people. However, state agencies can release data on which companies' employers are doing the layoffs.
That's not good. On Saturday, Catalina High School will host the 2016 Tucson World Refugee Day, which recognizes refugees in our local community. The event features speakers, entertainment, and a youth citizenship ceremony. Organizers say that the event urges those in the community to remember the plight of refugees around the world. The festivities begin at 3 p.m. in the Catalina cafeteria. Here's your chance to turn refugees into real people rather than just something you read about in the paper.
The Apache Solar Project in Wilcox is just about completed and almost ready to provide renewable energy to 6 member cooperatives. The Apache generating station will provide 20 megawatts starting in September and consist of 77,000 individual solar panels. 20 megawatts would supply about 3,000 homes with power, according to federal estimates. The project is part of a state mandate that state-regulated power companies get 15% of their power from renewable sources by 2025. And now in national and international news.
All right, Donald Trump announced today that he is reversing some of the loosened restrictions on travel and trade to Cuba, which were instituted by President Obama. Trump issued the presidential directive at a speech in Miami today. This would reinstate the travel ban for Americans traveling to Cuba and prevent money from being used to fund what the Trump administration views as a military-dominated government. This involves a ban on all business transactions between the U.S. and the Armed Forces Business Enterprises Group, which is a Cuban conglomerate that's involved in nearly all areas of the economy. However, Trump will keep open diplomatic embassies and continue diplomatic relations. He will which were set up during the closing days of the Obama presidency. International aid groups said that the new policy could make things worse by empowering hardliners in the country. They also question why Trump is focusing on Cuba's human rights record while he cozies up to leaders of Saudi Arabia and Egypt, 2 countries well known for human rights violations. Earlier today, Trump tweeted that the new approach would, quote, empower the Cuban people and hold the regime accountable. He later tweeted that Cuban cigars are, quote, very, very overrated, and that the mambo is a, quote, fake dance and will never compare to the very terrific chicken dance. So I guess we missed our chance to go to Cuba.
It's over.
Yeah.
Political appointees to oversee the plan to overhaul the Affordable Act is being stocked with former health insurance, according to a report by Intercept. The report states that the new members of the Health and Human Services Administration worked for such lobbying and law firms that advocate on behalf of insurance companies such as United Health. This was the company that left most of the health exchanges as part of the ACA and has lobbied the federal government to reverse some consumer protections. The committee is mainly run by Senator Tom Price's Chief of Staff, Lance Leggett. I'm sorry. Okay, he's not legit. Has listed 40 previous healthcare-related clients when he was a partner in the law firm Baker, Johnson, and is that Behrman? Behrman. And federal records, Leggett disclosed that he was paid over $800,000 by health insurance industry. Another senior counsel to Price was a lobbyist for McKesson Specialty Health, who was faced accusations for ignoring signs that they provided opioids for pill mills. Opiates. Just kidding. Republicans caught heat this week for keeping healthcare discussions behind closed doors. At least we know who's behind the doors.
Yeah. A siege in Mogadishu by the Somali militant group Al-Shabaab ended with 31 people killed. Somali soldiers fought the militants in a popular pizza restaurant on Thursday after a hostage situation started the confrontation on Wednesday night. It began with a car bombing at a Mogadishu hotel's front gates. 50 people have reported to have been rescued from the ensuing hostage situation. But witnesses say that before the 50 were rescued, militants wandered from room to room, shooting civilians at point-blank range. This followed a U.S. airstrike on Sunday in Somalia that killed 8 al-Shabaab militants, according to military officials. Somalia is one of 7 countries that we're now engaged in military operations with. Only 3 more and we get a free airstrike, but only in participating Middle Eastern and African countries. Look forward to that.
A new report by Promundo, an international research group, studied the motivations behind men who harass women on the streets of Egypt, Lebanon, Morocco, and Palestine. The report found that the 4,830 men surveyed, 31% in Lebanon and 64% in Egypt, admitted to sexually harassing women in public. This ranged from whistling to cheap feels to stalking to rape. And before you feel all high and mighty as an American, a similar study in the U.S. found that 65% of 2,000 women surveyed that they experienced street harassment by men. But the Middle Eastern found that in Palestine, Morocco, and Egypt, young men with secondary educations were more likely to publicly harass women than their less educated peers. This surprised researchers because they were led to believe that more educated men have more enlightened views toward women. The study's authors contributed the behavior to high unemployment, political instability, and pressure to fill the family's needs. About half of the men surveyed said that they felt stressed, depressed, or ashamed to face their families. The authors suggested that the educated young men have come to feel entitled and the world owes them something. The feeling comes from the high aspirations of the young men, which they're not able to fill. The authors suggest a few solutions in the study, including dotting the streets with cowboy decoys of Jessica Rabbit. And this was 5 on 20 News with Zeina Peterson.
And Joel Foster. Stay cool, Tucson. It's going to be a hot one.
Yes, 115.
See you in a few minutes with Department of Mediocrity. Stay tuned. right. Welcome to This Week in Mediaocrity, where we present you with all the best and the worst of the media. I'm your host, Joel Foster, and this is a witch hunt. This week was a weird one. Most surprisingly, Donald Trump had little to do with making the week weird. The Donald was pretty quiet this week, and I'm not complaining. It was pretty nice to get a break from the daily tweet storms, conspiracy theories, and other grammatical nightmares. But the week got weird when Republicans were targeted. Yeah. All right, there we go.
No, I don't though.
Sorry, folks. All right, here we go. The week got really weird when Republicans were targeted by a gunman who shot 5 people before being killed by security at a baseball practice. For the next few days, Democrats and Republicans pretended like they liked each other. They swallowed their pride and pledged solidarity. Not being someone who likes to rain on a parade, I'll let the bipartisan love continue for another day or so when it will inevitably be ruined by an ill-timed Trump tweet. Oh wait, that already happened. Ooh, that's squeezed. All right, instead, I found myself caught in a conspiracy wormhole earlier in the week, and I figured I'd share some of the best of my 3-hour black hole. The guy I'm going to talk about isn't partisan. I'm not even sure that he's human. But our main focus today is a guy named Jeff Rense, who runs Rense.com, which is like if a website could be a rotting zucchini burning in a dumpster filled with used condoms used by Steve Bannon. Rense's site runs the gamut from UFO sightings to Illuminati conspiracies, Nazi sympathizing, and of course, a little romance. In addition to using his site as a loudspeaker for the most insane conspiracies on the internet, it's also his own private Tinder. Go a little faster on there?
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. All right, good. In 2012, Rense posted a notice on his site looking for love in all the wrong places. In the notice, he said that he was looking for a special lady that's thin, fit, and healthy, and who's a homebody because, quote, Jeff does not travel much, and who enjoys cooking healthy vegan meals, who wants to tend a wonderful organic garden. Sounds like a winner. He said a mother would work okay, but as long as she only had one child, and that child has to be well-adjusted and well-grounded. And finally, this special someone has to, quote, enjoy being around someone who is well-informed, which basically means that she'd be expected to sit there quietly while Jeff spouted off his latest theories on Atlantis and how ancient aliens built the pyramids. But it's worth noting that Jeff Rense has been married 9 times, and there are multiple websites featuring purported accounts from his ex-wives describing typical psychopathic behavior. But the best thing about Jeff Rense is that he looks like this. Yes, that's a real picture. It's like Hall & Oates mated with 80s era Rod Stewart. At least I think this is what Rense looked like because he's notorious for hiding his age and identity in public. He generally doesn't do interviews and has never been seen on video. Former employees say that he's at least 65 years old and is much older than his picture suggests. And this was the picture he submitted. This was him at his best point. It would be like submitting your yearbook photo to represent you. But like many conspiracy theorists, Jeff Rense has had his share of fighting over the years. The first was This Week in Mediocrity regular and human blood clot Alex Jones, who also broadcasts a show on the GCN network in Austin, Texas. Jones reportedly tried to get Rense fired after he posted an article claiming that Alex Jones is a Zionist agent. What was his evidence? Alex Jones's wife, who recently took her charming husband to court, is, get this, Jewish. After publishing the article, Alex Jones reportedly threatened the family of Jeff Rense, then got him fired from GCN. Here's a young Alex Jones, looking like a cross between Bill Hicks and Garth Brooks with a drinking problem. You'll notice that he's a lot more mellow back in those simpler times. And you'll also notice the insane subtitles courtesy of yet another conspiracy theorist that believes Alex Jones is a Zionist agent. Enjoy.
It was a radio talk show host who contacted me and interviewed me several times, asked to do a show on Genesis, said fine. He posted a link to something basically said I may have murdered William Cooper. And when I called him up, he started yelling and cussing at me. And I said, this is very destructive. This is not nice. what you're doing, to sit there and talk about my family and lies and all this, started yelling and cussing at me. And then I heard him go to speakerphone. I said, oh, you got somebody listening. You want me to yell at you now? And I didn't say any of the things he said here. Thank God I had witnesses here in studio while I was on the phone. We've had somebody try this before, so I'm going to take legal action against this. And that's just the end of it. And I'm going to take legal action against the other people that air any of it. And I promise that. I got so many other things to do, so much other work to do, but at this point, I just have to defend myself and my name. Just amazing. And it is a crime to file false police reports as if this person's done what they've said they've done. I mean, it's jealousy has gone to a rampant new level with the Obama deception, the fact that we're breaking out internationally, everything we're doing. But we will not.
So just to review, Alex Jones was the level-headed one here. And notice how in the middle of his angry denial, he's still able to shoehorn an endorsement in for the Obama deception. Good move. Well played, Alex. Because Jeff Rense is only on the radio and doesn't appear in video, we're going to have to use some audio clips. I understand test your attention span, but just picture... Can you go back? Yeah. Oh.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Am I going too far?
No, you're perfect. Okay. All right, just imagine Jeff. just play the video.
According to the papers, remember I only talk about facts because I don't like to incite any sort of racial hatred.
No, don't do that.
No. We've got 164 police cases against Muslims in West Yorkshire who are being accused of using little white girls as rape whores, and we know that the Muslims are involved in drugs and white slavery all across Europe, and in West Yorkshire they're talking about massive numbers of little white girls being raped and used and abused and whored out by things called Muslims like Sadiq Khan, Jeff.
I don't know why the guy was talking like he's announcing a department store fire sale. He was so excited. Is it me, or are English people getting dumber? Come on, England, you're the land of Shakespeare, Chaucer, and Wham. Now you've got Nigel Farage, also known as baby's first racist. You've got Boris Johnson, who's clearly a victim of a man-child body-switching experiment. And of course, there's Piers Morgan, the embodiment of trash TV and white privilege. But back to Jeff Rense. How did he respond to this guy's cheerful story? Well, with an equally inappropriately smooth segue. Let's check it out.
This is actually in mainstream press.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is worth a laugh. There were, I think, I'm trying to find the story, but I won't be able to. Too many stories on Rense. The story about the rape whores, they had over 120 men lined up to rape one 13-year-old girl at one point.
Yeah, but she's white, Jeff. She's an infidel.
That's right.
And the only purpose of the white girls is to be gang raped by Muslims, according to Islam, Jeff.
According to the book, ladies and gentlemen.
According to the book, Jeff. This is...
Does it deserve a laugh? And what book are they talking about? I guess that's what happens when you're told that Muslims pray to Hustler magazine. Rense will believe anything. All right, while he started as a humble conspiracy theorist, as the years progressed, Rense became more supportive of the burgeoning neo-Nazi movement, who have long been known to appreciate a good perm. The shift to inviting racist views began when Rense let former KKK leader David Duke host a radio show. Duke wanted to have a show that featured Depeche Mode deep cuts, but Rense convinced him just to do racist stuff for an hour and call it a day. Here's a clip of David Duke chatting with Rense about Duke's appearance on InfoWars.
I called them, they called me, and we set a few ground rules. I explained to Alex that, there's a lot of bad things said about everybody. It doesn't do either of us any good to have a
no spitting in the wind
contest, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use the PISS word, but it doesn't help anybody to do that. That we should discuss things. I know we agree on some things, a lot of things, and we disagree on a lot of things. And but I think it'd be valuable, and I believe a lot of people in the audience will appreciate what I say. And I want to know myself what your positions are.
When I started the network, one of the first things I wanted to do was to bring David Duke on as a regular, which I was very lucky to be able to do. He is not afraid to speak his truth.
Funny you mention money, because embracing Nazi and racist countercultures seems to be a business decision for Jeff Rense. Since posting more news that's attractive to the alt-right, his site has become much more popular than ever, and this gives him the chance to sell products like a Rife testing instrument, the only cancer cure that works, at least according to this ad, which seems legit, right? And whose advertising looks like it was done by Timothy Leary and the guy who made Reanimator. And then there's Allicin C, the supplement made from garlic that the creator says counteracts antibiotic resistance. How do we know it works? Because the creator posed for this picture with 2 handfuls of garlic. I mean, why else would anyone carry around so much garlic, right? And finally, there's the Turbosonic Body Vibration Machine, which I'm pretty sure is just a scale that pretends you're losing weight. But getting back to the last clip, did you hear what he said about Duke giving his, quote, version of the truth? Now, before this year, I had no idea that there were different versions of the truth. Doesn't that kind of destroy the concept of a truth? But this is an issue that we often hear, the concept of he speaks his truth. And let's be honest, it's mostly his truth. The problem with this is that it turns truth into whatever we want it to think. You want to believe that Beyonce is actually Wesley Snipes in a wig? Well, that's one truth. You want to believe that the Chipmunks Squeakquel is the best movie ever made? That's your truth. As you can tell, these are opinions, not truths, but that doesn't matter anymore because nothing matters, at least according to my truth. In fact, none of you even exist. Sure, you could say that these guys are just making a buck, but unfortunately, because we have a president who actually buys into this stuff, it's starting to make a mark in our culture. Because remember this moment?
Alex Jones. He was a nice guy, actually. You like him? Oh, that's good. Alex Jones, nice guy.
I know now from top people that you actually are for real and you understand you're in danger and you understand what you're doing is epic.
Your reputation's amazing. I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed, I hope. And I think we'll be speaking a lot, but you'll be looking at me in a year or 2 years. Let's give me a little bit of a time to run things. But a year into office, you'll be saying, wow, I remember that interview. He said he was going to do it, and he did a great job. You'll be very proud of our country.
Well, so give me a year. Well, 2 years. So in a year, you'll be proud of me. But you just said 2 years. Well, in Donald Trump's version of the truth, 1 year equals 2 years. So just accept it. Yeah, that one appearance did more to legitimize these people than any amount of money, press passes, or tweed jackets. We now have to accept that for many people, guys like Jeff Rense are now on the same level as the major networks. And sure, you could say that the networks got lazy and deserve part of the blame, but a small part. Once again, it's our fault. By latching onto anything we're told on the internet, we just add to the tire fire, which coincidentally smells a lot like Jeff Rense's computer chair. I know I probably said this before, but it bears repeating. Look into the people who write the crap you read on the internet. Do a quick search. Are they selling you water purifiers after just telling you that the water is poison? Are they claiming that the president is a lizard, but only when it's a president they don't like? Are they posting love notices on their site? Are they spending an inordinate time fighting with other conspiracy theorists? If that's the case, you probably should get your information from somewhere else. Otherwise, you end up like me, with YouTube providing me with weirder and weirder suggestions to the point where I'm spending hours trying to find out if a time-traveling Obama killed Gandhi. All right, that's all my time for today. Have a great weekend and stay away from the trash. I'll see you next week.